On Beautiful People today, my guest is filmmaker Madhur Bhandarkar, whose unique brand of cinema has helped him carve a special niche for himself with moviegoers. Now, his new film release called Dil To Bachcha Hai Ji, it's just come out this week, is different from what he's been doing so far in the sense that it's not a barely disguised fictional account of several real-life news stories. It is different. Why is he trying to do something different? Remember, it's always interesting to meet filmmakers when they are moving or shifting gears. Madhur, like I said, always interesting to catch a filmmaker when he's trying to do something different. How difficult was this film for you? No research. There's no research you have to do. No experts you can talk to. Romantic and comedy.
Yeah, I think as a filmmaker, I always wanted to explore all kind of genre of cinema. But obviously, Chandni Bar happened. People who knows very closely, they know I have a good flair of comedy. I got a good sense of humor. And I always wanted to make a comedy film. But obviously, Chandni Bar happened, Satta, Page 3, Corporate, Traffic Signal. So I didn't get time in those years. 10 years have been gone since Chandni Bar. So I just thought, okay, let's make a comedy film, which will be again a slice of life, which will be very much not a candy floss comedy, not an over-the-top comedy, not caricaturish. So I thought, okay, there should be something which is very, people should relate to it. Like in 70s, you had the Basu Chatterjee, Rishikesh Mukherjee kind of cinema. So I said, let's take a shot and make this movie, Dil To Bachcha Hai Ji, about three guys, their relationship with all the girls and what happened with them. So I think there was no research, definitely there was no research, but I had taken characters whom I know from the industry, my friends, people whom I have seen particular trait and nuance, which I have put into the film.
I'm going to go back to something you told me the last time we met, which was just after fashion.
I am an experimental filmmaker. I love to experiment with different genre of cinema. I am not a commercial filmmaker, which I am telling you. My movies does commercially at box office very well. But I am not the typical commercial filmmaker who will take 4 guys, 4 girls and put 7 songs.
No, that you've proved. So one part of what you're saying still stands true.
Yeah.
But the other part, is this the most commercial film you've made so far?
No, I would not say it's a commercial film in terms. Obviously, in the star cast, you have Ajay Devgan, Imran Hashmi, who are the mainstream guys and who had just had a hit like Once Upon a Time in Mumbai. But this movie was started much before that movie. So, but again, I'm still telling I'm an experimental filmmaker.
That's true.
Yeah, okay. In spite of a lot of filmmakers, when they are comfortable in one particular genre of cinema, on their space, which they feel comfortable, they will never indulge in a filmmaking which they feel out of box, because people will try to scrutinize them. People are definitely sitting here to watch Dil To Bachcha Hai Ji, what Madhur Bhandarkar is making. Comedy, how good he will be or how bad he will be. Okay. So as a filmmaker, definitely I want to experiment. When I wanted to start this movie, a lot of people told me, please don't start this movie Dil To Bachcha Hai Ji, and I had a flop like Jail, which didn't do well at the box office, in spite of getting so much of critical acclaim, but theek hai. So a lot of people told me, no. Now since Jail have not done well, you should just stick to your genre of cinema. Again you are trying to get something different area, don't do that. But as a filmmaker, like I said, experiment. I wanted to do this experiment. I said, no, I will do right now. So for me, definitely, I wouldn't say commercial because I am been in my space. I'm been in those areas which I feel this is a film I want to make, which is very much real.
But do you feel that with the kind of reaction you got to Jail, that people had now maybe got tired of Madhur Bhandarkar's brand of cinema? Because people know what to expect from you. You know that. Madhur will take one area or one subject, one premise, and then show us that from, maybe the expose kind of approach, which is to use your words.
No, I don't think so, because if that could be the thing, then a film like Heroine, which has not started, the kind of curiosity, the kind of hype which created in between when I was making Dil To Bachcha Hai Ji couldn't have happened. If that would be the case, I don't think people would. Every day I get recommendation, people, why didn't you make a movie on this Radia tapes and all, Okay, you can make a corporate part 2 about all these things. So those email or Twitter would have not been there if people would have fed up of Madhur Bhandarkar kind of cinema. So people are there who want to see genre of cinema. In fact, a lot of people tweeted me or they met me in the flight and they said, why you are changing your genre? Why you are becoming a candy floss filmmaker? With Dil To Bachcha Hai Ji, they told me, why didn't you stick to the hardcore fan of me? They said, why you want to change? I said, but please give me a break. At least let me try something different. So I don't think people definitely look forward. Madhur is person who has done whatever they say, moral policing, or he shows the expose, the society, what happened in the society. So I don't think people are fed up.
So it's not got anything to do with the fact that you may be bored or people may be bored with your kind of cinema.
No, absolutely not. If that would be the case, I wouldn't have a lot of producers who are backing me, actors want to work with me, or the kind of writers come with me, sir, ek aisi film banao, you only can make. So I think there is a lot of things which is not. I myself felt it, let me take a break.
Like we discussed, this is not a particular issue which you and other people don't know about, so there is not the typical research that you need to do. It's a comedy, so people need to be able to connect and laugh and empathize as the movie goes along. What was the challenge for you in making this film? What was the scary part for you in making this film? Because it's different from what you've done before.
I think first people perception that Madhur is making a comedy, so it became the national news why Madhur is making a comedy, why he's leaving his area. Two, I just felt it that for me as a filmmaker, like I said, I've grown up watching Rishida's Basuja's movie, and which I really wanted to enjoy. Which I really said, I never said, wow, I'm going to make a great film and please see this movie. No, I always said from the time the movie started, it's a very simple rom-com which is slice of life, and I mean it from bottom of my heart. Nowhere I proclaim to be, okay, my God, now I'm going to change the genre of cinema of comedy. No, like that. I always said that it is baaton baaton mein choti si baat, those kind of cinema which I got. And it was very easy. For me, it was very easy because it took me 3 days, 2 days to narrate Ajay Devgan, Imran Hashmi, Omi Vedya, and they said, yes, let's do this film. It's so sounding so good. And on the set I work in a very, very friendly manner. I have absolutely no problem. Like I said, I have got a good sense of humor. My writer Sanjay Chhel, whom I get along very well with him because he was a writer of Rangila. I was associate director with Ram Gopal Verma at that time, and we had a good bonding and good chemistry. So it was very well executed on the set. There was no problem at all. Absolutely no problem. It was completely, we know when the movie started, when the movie ended. It was so fast with the film. So it was no problem for me to making a comedy, so I get very aware of it. Nothing like that. Nothing like that at all.
The interesting part for me about Dil To Bachcha Hai Ji after seeing it was that you are actually trying to delve into the male psyche, isn't it?
Correct. Completely.
And this is a change.
Yeah, complete change. Because there is always a feeling that Madhur Bhandarkar handled women very well in this film because he gets the particular trait, nuance, the psyche you're talking about. I wanted to say that basically I can have the same from the male perspective also. What happens with their problem, what is there. It could be 3 girls also in the movie.
That's true.
But I thought this movie should be from the male oriented point of view. Their problem, their psyche, how they are emotionally also hurt, how they are, used. So that thing which I've got very well.
In fact, I thought that I loved the portrayal of all the female characters in the movie, and yet I thought the one takeaway that maybe people would go at a superficial level is that the modern Indian woman is quite hard-headed, is very ambitious, and actually is pretty much like the man.
Completely.
You agree with
Completely, this? I agree with it. Completely. I think because today's life has been changed completely. You see people how they use each other, or the woman point of view which is very strong today. Women, it's basically not a woman who was some 20 years back, because they're excelling so well in different fields if you see today. So obviously I've got all 3 girls in there, and there's a girl who's innocent also, like with Shahzan Padamsi's character in the film. She's like in her own world. So there are mixed match of it. You have all kind of traits in all different kind of personality, which I think got it very well on the screen.
So what's your take on the Indian man today?
Indian man, I think so. He has his own ups and downs, and he changes according to the stages of his age. Every Indian man changes according to his stage. At 116, 17 age, he is something different. We change. We tend to change. All human beings, we tend to change according to the age, success, or whatever work we do in whichever field we are. We change according to the situation. I think so.
What is interesting also in your movie is that romantic comedies, by nature the genre suggests that guy gets girl or girl gets guy, whereas in Dil To Bachcha Hai Ji, it's not like that.
It's not like that, yeah.
Is that something that you think will work well with your audiences?
I think so. I think
because people look for so-called happy endings in romantic
absolutely.
comedies, isn't it?
I know, especially the second half, people always they go for safety zones where it is there. Here I've completely digressed from it.
In fact, for me, that's what works best in the film.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. It's completely shocker. But then again, like it's Madhur's film, like it has to be those kind of changes in the film. Because then you don't have to be a very candy floss or very, you know, okay, this is perfect pair for them or this is perfect things for them. You have to change. So I think...
So that's your realistic touch.
That's a realistic touch,
in,
which is very much evident in the film. Because otherwise, Madhur Bhandarkar ka gayab ho gaya picture se. It has to be there. It is very much then, I think all these guys and girls have portrayed very well the part of the character and the heartache which one goes through.
So do you think in romantic relationships men have a harder time than women?
Definitely. I know so many guys who goes in depression. So many times the guy goes to hit the bottle. So many times I've seen both ways. I'm talking, see, we human beings are emotion, very emotional. So it can be both ways. It's not like that कि women are ruthless or men are ruthless. Women also go through hardship. Men also go through hardship.
One thing that I found slightly, I don't know if the word is lazy, but I felt that as a filmmaker, your three main characters depended too much on their past movie images. So for instance, Omi Vaidya and Three Idiots, he is pretty much playing a similar kind of person, at least from the superficial nuances. You have Imran Hashmi, and we know his image in his movies.
Correct.
And then you have Ajay Devgan doing the good boy he did in Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, even the singing. So why, Madhur? Why did you have to rely on your stars' images?
See, one thing is that I think Ajay Devgan has never done a subtle underplay comedy. Like his character is very much like been inspired by the characters was Amul Palekar in a lot of films. If you see in Baaton Baaton Mein or Choti Si Baat, you know, a guy who's like little shy, who's going through a divorce.
The common man,
The common man, completely. All three guys. Imran Hashmi character, which I felt it ke but Imran Hashmi first time earlier he's always been a serial killer or a brooding guy. But here I've shown Imran Hashmi in one-liners, and I know such characters in my life whom I've met, how they talk, this is the way their language is, you know. So I felt that Imran Hashmi definitely would have done a great job because the kind of openness he has done in the film, never he has done like that.
But do you think you as the writer, director have relied a bit on their earlier images or you know, roles which when it comes together has created a success for them? Look at Omi Vaidya's character.
Yeah, I agree with it. But there would be any other character also in a place of Omi Vaidya, but I felt that he would do better because I felt it that there's a particular amount of innocency on his face. There's an amount of fragile face he got, the way he carried himself in the film, the way he's trying to woo a woman and he's trying to be so honest about himself. So I just felt that he would be perfect for the role. And since when you're making such a big film, I think if there would be a certain amount of image baggage, if you're talking about Ajay Devgan, Imran Hashmi, it benefits for the film because it is a big amount of big movie. So that benefits also. People want to see, he has sung a song or whatever. Imran Hashmi has an image of being a ladies' man or being with women all the time. So it definitely helps a lot because it carries forward. Because then you don't have to make him very strong also. You can definitely play with the image.
Some of the work is done by that
Absolutely,
image.
because you have an image. There's a perception about Ajay Devgan, Imran Hashmi or Omi Vaidya. Okay, ye aisa hai. So definitely that is beneficial for the narration of the film, which it's like 2 hours 14 minutes film, so it has to be compact. When you take a new actor, so there is a certain amount of build-up you have to give, certain amount of image you have to do. You have to put 4 scenes extra to get the audience into that particular zone. Okay, see, this is the guy who's going to behave like that.
You said that it was not really particularly challenging to do a movie, which is sort of different from what you've done in the past. And yet the fact that this is perhaps now the biggest budget film you've made?
Yeah, in terms
And
of
only
obviously
because of the
fashion,
star cast.
after fashion, yeah.
So does that bring with it a different approach to the way you would finally make your product?
No, it's nothing like that. See, one thing is that I knew from the first day, whatever it is, like Ajay Devgan, a mainstream guy, Imran Hashmi, I will stick to my genre of cinema. I will never digress from the kind of films I make. So that was very sure about it. I always thought that comedy should be in my space only. I will never go over the top or senseless comedy. Like people always say, you keep your brains and come and watch my movie. I would not say like that, because I think there's insult to the cinegoers when you say like that. Because people think you all are fool and just watch my movie without any brains. I think people should use their brains and definitely watch the movie, because since they are paying so much amount of money in multiplex. So I never thought that this is a commercial film or this. Yeah, the mainstream actors are there. The film gets bigger.
Right. No, and when a Madhur Bhandarkar film releases, we've talked about this in the past. We've talked about how both your brand, which is the director's brand, and is what carries the film largely. Okay,
Yeah.
we saw that change with Priyanka in fashion.
Yeah.
Who also we know that fashion was a success for Priyanka after several
Films.
unsuccessful films. In this one, has Madhur's brand taken a bit of a backseat to the star brands which are there?
No, I don't think so.
You don't
People
think
are
so?
still curious to know a Madhur Bhandarkar film. Especially, I have shifted a genre of comedy, so people are very curious to know. The enthusiasm is there among the audience, cinegoers. That Madhur has made a comedy, let's see what he's making. So I don't think so. And if you feel that it's taking a backseat, I think ultimately the film should work. For me, the film become bigger than Madhur Bhandarkar or actors or anybody. I think the film works, everything works. That is very important.
So what's the response you're getting so
So
far?
far, overwhelming. Critics have loved the film. Very good response from everywhere. Shows are getting advances are very well. So I'm very happy, keeping my finger crossed.
Fingers crossed, Madhur Bhandarkar.
Thank you
It's
so
always fun to watch a filmmaker shift gears and do something different. And we hope people enjoy watching your brand of comedy. And we hope to have you back on the show with a new film.
Thanks.